And joining us right now in a CNBC exclusive is the man who manages Prince Al-Waleed's fortune, Kingdom Holdings CFO, SHADI SANBAR. Mr. SANBAR, good to have you on the program. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
So what is your reaction to what Steve Forbes had to say about this?
Well, to be very honest with you, I find it surprising that Mr. Forbes stated that he did valuations on an independent basis. First of all, in terms of our investments, as you know, we're into hotel management companies, iconic assets, real estate, and a portfolio of international and domestic investments. For him to make the statement that he conducts his own independent valuation when for the past 5 years he has relied exclusively on the market value of the Kingdom Holdings stock since we went public in 2007. So to me, in dealing with Forbes, this was the first year where they've taken, in my personal view, a radical change in terms of how they evaluate and how they estimate and how they assess the total wealth of Prince Al-Waleed, which, just for the record, is made of two components: his personal financial assets, right, and then, in addition to that, the share value of his holding of his shares in the Kingdom Holding Company, which is a Saudi-listed company on the stock exchange.
I'm curious why you even care what Forbes estimates the prince's value at. Do you feel like it hurts the brand of Kingdom Holdings and the prince? Or, I mean, there are plenty of other billionaires who make the list and they say they just would rather the list go away because they want privacy. But yet you're drawing attention to the list with this kind of a charge, and I'm wondering why.
Well, first of all, let me separate the prince's private net worth from my responsibility as the Chief Financial Officer of Kingdom Holding Company. And as I said, the contribution to his overall net worth is the share component. So when there is a total disregard for the share value of Kingdom Holding Company, that does impact my personal responsibility and that responsibility of the investment committee, as well as the board and our shareholders. Now, yes, the prince cares about his overall net worth, but I care equally important about how Kingdom Holding Company, as a Saudi public company, is valued and is accepted and is trading on the exchange on a day-to-day basis. So for Forbes to come in and say, well, we have done an independent valuation, when really there's no basis for the valuation of, for example, the Four Seasons and our 47.5% interest in the Four Seasons. Now, I don't know what information they got to come up with those multiples for specifically the value of Four Seasons and Fairmont and Swiss Hotel, as well as the iconic hotels that we do own, in addition to the real estate. So the exception I took is where Forbes asserted their own, valuation without regard to what the market's saying this company's worth. This is where I took exception.
What kind of information did they ask for? I mean, did they get brokerage statements? I mean, how are they coming up with this? And are you saying that in the whole $20 billion valuation, they did not value the hotels? That seems extraordinary to me, given the fact that this is one of the prince's most important holdings, the hotels.
Maria, I don't want to come on the attack against Mr. Steve Forbes, but I do recall him saying on your show 2 nights ago that 100 times multiple of earnings is certainly an overstatement in his own personal view. Now, we've explained to Forbes time and time again, from the inception of the company, when it actually went public, that the valuation of the company was a net asset value. We are a holding company. We don't report the food and revenue and hotel beverage and EBITDA on a segment-by-segment basis, because as a practical matter, since we do not own a majority position, we do the accounting on an equity basis, and that's just reporting on a one-line basis our share interest in those companies' earnings. So when you look at our EBITDA, it's certainly not representative of any hotel management company or any real estate company or any other, similar trading company. But
that makes no
Forbes
sense.
refused to accept.
That makes no sense.
They refused to accept that.
Well, let me ask you this. I mean, as we close out, we're running out of time, but we quoted the prince as saying that he feels Forbes is biased against Middle Eastern investors. Do you share that view?
Well, again, that's his personal view, and I share it in the sense that inasmuch as there are other Middle Eastern investors who have done two things. One, asked Forbes to be removed off the list, and two, seriously questioned the valuations that they've made with respect to their own wealth. And unfortunately, there is some credibility issue with respect to how they go about and the consistency with which they value the individual companies, be they publicly listed or private equity listed. So that's the whole issue. We had used the public market as the indication of wealth, and all of a sudden they've come up without telling us the basis or adding up the components. They said we were overly, in increasing from 18 to 20 billion. I mean, that is not a giveaway. In our personal view, there is a fundamental basis of how, the shares are valued, but they didn't ask us for how the public values that company. We had used the public market value, and they came up with their own without really sharing with us or even giving us the opportunity to discuss that with them.
We say, Shadi, good to have you on the program. Thanks very much for coming on and explaining this to us. We appreciate your time today.
Thanks very much.
Thank you. Appreciate the time.
Shadi SANBAR joining us.